we don't want to waste any more time. We want to bring on our special guest. He is a young man that he's a young man that's been is already a legend in his own right on his playing days. He came out of Henderson, North Carolina, to Winston-Salem State University back in 2009, I believe it was. Right,
Yes,
right
sir.
when I, right when I was exiting out, and I think Chris maybe not too long after you exited out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of guys left the program. He stuck around, became an All-American at the Division II level, All CIAA player, Defensive Player of the Year, and made his way to the NFL. Stayed there for a number of years. Comes back and starts coaching, and uh, just lighting it up as the defensive coordinator over at Virginia State University. Without any further ado, Carlos Fields, welcome to HBCU Game Day.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you guys for having me. But we really had to open up with Winston-Salem State losing like that.
Well, one thing about WSSU, it's never boring. There is always some drama, whether there's a win or a lose, or whether you don't even actually get to play the game.
Yes, sir.
Whatever happens, it's never boring with WSSU. But we'll get to that right now. Well, we want to talk about that Virginia State defense that you guys are killing it out there. I know last year, you didn't get the job until late in the year. You were over at Alabama A&M helping out with the coaching staff that helped raise you over at WSSU. You get the job late. You guys had an up and down season, but this year, man, you guys are on fire. 11 points, I think, per game that you guys are averaging. Allowing at the CIAA 6-0. Just talk to us about this defense that you guys got and how you put it together.
But again, I appreciate you guys for having me on. But just kind of an overall of our season. Last year we didn't get hired until like June 27th, June 23rd, something like that. So we didn't have a spring. Didn't have a recruiting class. So we pretty much was inherited from the 3-6 season that they had prior to us coming here. But just overall, whenever you have a recruiting class, whenever you have a full year, whenever you have a spring that you can actually understand things, because obviously when you're, obviously when you're new to a system and you don't know what you're doing, you don't play as fast. You're out there thinking, and you don't play as fast as you should. But being, that we've been here for a full year and we had a spring, our guys are playing fast. As far as our defense, we run a 4-2-5 defense, and everything is predicated off of eyes. I know old school offenses, is more of like spot dropping. You go to this hash and you drop and you kind of read the quarterback. But everything is off of eyes. So if your eyes, are in the right spot, they'll always take you to the ball. But right now, we're doing pretty good. Right now, I'm a humble type of guy, so I don't really like to kind of, boast about what we're doing because I'm humble, but yet, I got to have our guys still hungry. But right now, we're sitting at 6-0, and I'm looking forward to homecoming this week.
So, Coach, this is a big step up job-wise from where you were at Alabama A&M. What was it like getting the call to go work with somebody like Dr. Frazier?
Oh man, so shout out to my mentor, Perez Boyer. He was my defensive coordinator for 4 years at Winston-Salem. Is the person that got me ready for, football in college. He's the person that got me ready for college coaching. He's the person that got me ready for this job that I'm currently sitting in right now. So pretty much it was, over the summer, Coach Frazier reached out to Coach Boyer about to see if he could come and be a defensive coordinator, but he was actually promoted to be a defensive coordinator from being a defensive line coach at Alabama A&M. And all of a sudden he kind of threw out my name, and I'm more of, of live day by day type of guy. Like I'm pretty much, I'm not really a go getter, which I should be, and I'm kind of working towards that. But the only way to kind of get me to do things if you literally just push me to do it. So Coach Bulwer, Coach Frazier was on the phone. They was talking. Coach Bulwer kind of three-way me in, um, and pretty much the rest is history. I talked to Coach Frazier for about 15 minutes, and right after I got off the phone with Coach Frazier, I called my wife, and because at the time I have a 1 year old, and my wife was pregnant with our now youngest daughter, and I was already in Alabama. So she was like, "Well, Virginia is only about a 2 hour drive, so at least you cut down 6 hours because I was 8 hours away." But I think I've been ready for this role. Again, my mentor, my friend, he's prepared me since I was 19 years old. Kind of running the defense at Winston-Salem State. But again, shout out to him because he pretty much made me into the person who I am today.
Yeah, great stuff. And I can speak for sure for Carlos. When he says he's a humble person, he really is. Ever since I met him when he was a student athlete over at WSSU, just very serious. I remember I was in the press conference after one of their games in the playoffs. I think it might have been the IUP game where he had a clutch interception. And he just seemed like a real business, like he was, just real business minded and straightforward and diagnosing, the reason why they were able to have the success. When we go back to that, do players know how good that you were and how good those teams were? I know you being a humble guy, you probably don't talk about it a lot, but do you guys know that you were that guy and talk,
Talk- uh, well, to my linebackers, I kind of boast a little bit about myself. Like sometimes when there's a similar play from a previous game that we have now, and I've experienced that back when I played, I would kind of go back because I have all the film. I got all the offensive film, all the defensive film, so I would go back and find a specific play. And it's crazy, man, that my memory is because I can be like, well, you're supposed to do this, and I'll go back to a certain game, and I'll literally find that particular play that we did the previous game, and I'll show it to him like, Carlos Fields would have made that play. But again, I'm a humble guy, man, and pretty much I don't talk about it. Actually earlier today, we practiced in the morning at 7 o'clock. So right after I got off, right after we left practice yesterday, Steven posted and you added me about me coming to talk or whatever. And one of my receivers was like, "Coach, you was two-time defensive player of the year." It's like, yeah, dude, like and I don't talk about it. I don't because I just I'm just a humble guy, and if you bring it up, I'll talk about it. But if not, then I just kind of keep all of that stuff to myself. But I talk to my friends all the time, and they tell me that I should talk about certain things, and how when I was at Winston, we did a whole bunch of different things, and all decade, two-time player of the year, All American, two-time, all that type of stuff. But again, I'm a humble guy, man, and like I said, I wouldn't be anything if my coaches and stuff didn't put that information into me, and for me to go out there and execute.
Yeah, you talk about that too. I mean, but now where you guys are, right? You're 6-0. You guys are just getting into the national rankings. So you've actually literally been where they've sat before now. And it looks, everybody's, kind of anointing you guys as the best team in the CIAA. You beat a Division I team. I know you know what that feels like because you got that dub over North Carolina Central and North Carolina A&T in the back-to-back year. But anyway. Um, how do you maybe use that experience now to keep those guys grounded and let them know, hey, it's great that you're doing what you're doing, but the ceiling is so much higher because you've played at the national championship level. You played, obviously you've gone at the NFL as an individual, but as a team, you've seen how high a CIAA team can go. And hey, you guys are the standard. 14 wins. Nobody else has ever done that. How much are you using that experience now, maybe as you guys continue to go on and say, hey, stay focused?
So it's crazy that you asked that because this Sunday was probably the first Sunday was the first Sunday after the game that I was really proud of my guys, of our guys, because we literally the first kickoff they took it back, and then we ended up getting 2 points on that next extra point, and then the next play from scrimmage our quarterback throws an interception. So being able to see those adversity or those adverse situations and seeing how well we responded was like phenomenal. Because literally every Sunday prior to this last game, I felt like we lost for some reason. Because and our guys and sometimes the older guys will always be like, Coach Fields, we just beat those guys, or we just did this, or we just did that. I'm like, listen, our ceiling is so much higher. And when I say that, and I love my conference, I love the CIAA. I was bred in this conference, but some of the things that I felt like we were doing will not get us to that next level after the CIAA conference game and all that good stuff. Whenever we get to the playoffs, those small things are the ones that's going to get us to that next level after the CIAA conference game and all that good stuff. Whenever we get to the playoffs, those small things are the ones that's going to get us to. All right. All right. Am I good? Am I clear? Steven?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, I can hear my echo. But anyway, but yeah, so literally the last game was the only game that I was really excited about because we literally took the adversity. The first half I think we held them to about 100 yards, and even the second half, we held them even less yards. I think it was like 67 yards or something like that. But being able to to elaborate to those guys, like, listen, the CIAA is, again, I love this conference. I played in it for 4 years. But there's games after this conference that's gonna make or break us, and just being able to do those little things, within the games that I think that we should be even more dominant. I think we are reaching in the right step.
So Coach, you have one player that really stands out in terms of the scouts. That's Willie Drew. He's selected to a Shrine Bowl watch list, and certainly has the potential to be on some other accolades as well as the season ends. Talk a little bit about him.
Willie Drew is the leader of our defense. He's a student on and off the field. He's the person that if we have to shut somebody down, we're going to put Willie Drew on. He was a transfer from JMU. And last year he had a really good season as well. I think he had like 4 or 5 interceptions last year. But this year, again, was the first year because last year we only had one defensive back coach. And this year we have 2. So we actually have a cornerback coach and a safeties coach. So now he's getting a more one-on-one, student teacher type of preview. And he's just amazing, man. 4'4" guy. Recognize routes because I tell anybody, it's great to be strong, it's great to be fast, it's great to be agile, but if you know what's going to happen before it happens, I promise you, you're going to be so much better. And Willie Drew is that guy that has phenomenal eyes in zone and man to man. He's going to pretty much shut anybody down. But he's a player. And it's crazy because he has another year. But I'm pretty sure he's probably gonna go on to do bigger and better things, in the NFL probably.
Yeah, you played under Coach Maynor. Obviously a lot of success there. What's it like coaching under Coach Frazier? I know he's a guy you really didn't have a relationship going forward, when you got there. But what's it been like with Coach Frazier? What is a Coach Frazier-led team like? The atmosphere, the aura, and just what does he bring to the table that's special, unique to him?
So Coach Frazier is the ultimate players coach. Just to piggyback off of Coach Maynor. Coach Maynor was hard, like you couldn't do nothing So when I say you couldn't do nothing, like you couldn't do anything. You couldn't wear hats. You couldn't wear earrings. You couldn't do any. Couldn't wear flip flops. And like, Coach Maynard's demeanor was always, if you can do those little things, which, as a 19, 18, 20-year-old kid, you want to be cool. You want to wear your earrings. You want to wear your necklaces. You want to wear your hats, all that type of stuff. But Coach Maynard's mentality was, if you can do those little things, then you can stay on sides. You can not get pass interference. You can, open doors for like you can do those little things. Anything is possible. But Coach Frazier is the total opposite. So Coach Frazier is more of a player friendly guy. He's more of, he'll kind of let you be an adult. Like he always preaches, hey, you guys are grown men, so I'm going to treat you like grown men. So you're going to have freedom time. You're going to have time to join organizations. You're going to have time to, go out and explore outside of football. But he's that type of person. But as a player, I would have loved to play for Coach Frazier because, like I said, he allows you to be an adult and obviously be an athlete as well. So actually, it's more so on the staff to kind of keep our guys humble, to kind of keep our guys, hey, go out and join organizations or go out to the gatherings and all that type of stuff. But obviously, we're here to win a championship along with, being able to get a degree as well. But they're literally like night and day. Coach Maynard was a more hard, tough, I was talking to one of our running back coaches today, and Coach Maynard, one time showed up I'm a big gamer. I love Madden. He came into my room about 1:00 one morning on a Wednesday night, just because we couldn't go to parties during the week. The only time we can really socialize was Saturdays after the game. So he would literally do pop-ups at our rooms and, at our off-campus apartments and stuff like that. But he literally came to my room at like 1:00 in the morning, and I was in there playing Madden. I turned around, and I'm like, man, this is Coach Maynard in my office. But Coach Frazier is more so, he's a great manager, and he allows those guys to kind of, be college students, which, you're only in college for 4 to 5 years, and that time flies just like that. So he more so allows you to kind of be a college student along with being a student athlete as well.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I just got a more interesting question after all that. Last year Virginia State, got really manhandled at their homecoming by Bowie State. Was that by design this time around to repay the favor?
You already know, man. Hey, listen. Hey, payback, baby. But I mean, again, last year, it was our first year, and I'm not making excuses because, excuses are tools, and I don't really want to, go into that. But again, they were the better team last year, and this year, we got that get back on. So, but again, big shout out to Bowie State and their program. I know coach is gonna kind of turn that thing around and get back on that track. But yeah, right now we're just we have one goal a week. It's just to go 1-0 every week and stay humble but yet hungry and just to keep winning.
Yeah, you guys have homecoming coming up this week over at VSU. You've got the folks over from Bluefield State. I know you guys had a chance to see them last year. Now they're members of the conference. They've been kind of up and down offensively. They went to Livingstone and had a light show on the blue turf, and then they came to Bowman Gray and didn't score. And then last week they got into a shootout with sort of a shootout with Lincoln. Talk about what you're seeing from them, and just another team that's seems like another gritty team that fits right in with what is going on in the CIAA North right about now.
Right. So I think the biggest thing with them from the beginning of the season till now, they had a quarterback change. When the first 2 or 3 games, they had a quarterback number 6. He was more of a runner type of guy. He did a lot of power read, did a lot of read option. Kind of scrambled around and made, heroic plays. But now they have a more set quarterback. He's a left-handed kid. Last game, I think he threw for 442, 5 touchdowns. So they're gonna air it out. They're not a running team at all. They're 2x2, 3x1 type team. And for the last couple of games, I think the game before that they played against Fayetteville State, and I think they put up about 18 points. But out of the last two games, they've put up about 28 to 30 points. So it's going to be a air raid type of game. Now I think it's supposed to be 50%, 60% rain, so that may kind of play into a factor as far as being able to run the ball a little bit more. But again, the quarterback he's more of a passer, and we've been kind of dialing it up all week. So can't wait to see those guys on Saturday.
And again, we're talking with Carlos Fields, defensive coordinator at Virginia State University. Look, man, I'm just gonna come out and ask you, man. So, a couple things. So, one, we are, there's been a lot of talk about you guys, when you played. I've heard people calling you guys ringers, saying you were all Division I players and everything like that. Kind of discounting some of the stuff that you guys did, man. Talk to me when you hear that. I mean, obviously, you got your 2 championship rings. 10 years ago, we thought you might be heading towards 3. I'm sure you probably heard about that a time or two since you've been up there at state, as they call it. But I know you're humble, but just let them know what you guys had going on there, man.
Gotcha. So, man, just to kind of piggyback off of 2009, I was a freshman coming in to Winston-Salem State, and that year was our last transitional year to the MEAC, but the next year we went down to Division II. And that's when Coach Maynard, Coach Boer, Coach Hayes, Coach Eder, all of those guys came in and literally ran off half of the team, literally. And then some people, they'll always say, well, you guys had a Division I team, but literally from 2010 to 2012, that was 2 years of recruiting. So Cam Smith, who's a Hall of Famer, just went into the Hall of Fame. Shout out to my quarterback, Cam Smith. Jamez Massey, who was that guy, 5'8", 145 pounds, soaking wet, put us on our back, took us to the national championship. Donnie Owens, who was a transfer, who was not on that team in 2010. Barry Tripp. Shout out to Barry Tripp. He's the defensive coordinator at John C. Smith right now. He was my defensive lineman that was in front of me. Everybody, literally, we had a couple of guys. Now I'm not gonna, I'm gonna keep it real. We had a couple of guys off of that, 2009, 2010. That kind of, was their last year in 2012. But the majority of the guys that whenever we went to the national championship, and even the year before in 2011, when we went to the semis, most of those guys were transfer guys. Again, Cam Smith, Jamez Massey, Jawan Butler, Jamal Williams, Maurice Lewis was a running back who was a Division II recruit. Larry Hearn, who was a Division II recruit. Listen, we had Daniel Mungin, who was the wheel beside me. He was a JUCO transfer. Most of our guys were Division II / transfer, JUCO transfers, or maybe drop down guys. But that was a great testament to recruiting. Like Coach Boulware is probably the mastermind of recruiting 2-year non guys. 2-year nons are pretty much when guys go to school and then they have to sit out for 2 years. So they're older, they're mature type of guys. Because even the transfers that we had that year from 2011 to 2012, most of those guys sat on the bench, literally. And I'm not playing at all. Like we had some guys from ECU, we had a guy from Alabama, we had a guy from UNC, Danny Bunn, who was the safeties coach at Fayetteville State. He was the backup. But I'm telling you, like most of our guys were recruited guys. Now, I'm not gonna lie, 2010, 2009 was the last year that we had Division I recruits like myself, Malcolm Rowe, Ricky Rozier, Marcus Lawrence, who was an offensive lineman. He was a center. He's actually offensive line coach at Alabama A&M. But most of those guys were recruited guys after, we made that transition. So, and I kind of talk to our offensive coordinator and our head coach about, he'll be like, well, you guys transition from Division 1 to Division 2, so you should have done that. But our first year when we transitioned, we beat North Carolina Central, we beat North Carolina A&T, but then we lost to Shaw and we lost to St. Aug. So what does that tell you? Just because we, transition, we still lost to 2 Division 2 teams. So, but all in all, man, I had a really good experience there, man. I loved it. Again, I still watch all Winston-Salem State games. I carry a wristband every day. Most of my guys tell me to take it off, but I'm not taking it off because that's the, the school that bred me into the person that I am. Gave me a math degree. I started, teaching in middle school and in high school, and ultimately, kind of led myself here. But I love Winston-Salem State, till I leave this earth. But we were those guys, man. Like we were good. We were great.
No doubt. Well, look, you guys right there, VSU, you're right on track. Long season. CIAA North is a gauntlet, as we always say. But hey, you're halfway to potentially the CIAA championship game and Division 2 playoffs and beyond. So behalf of Chris and myself and the show, we want to just make sure that we again, thank you and honor your time. Appreciate it, everything that you're doing going up there at VSU, man. You guys are killing it, making it really scary for teams out there. So continue to keep those guys excited about what they got going on, and keep that perspective again that it is, the CIAA, winning the CIAA is great, but there's a lot more beyond that as well. So I appreciate you for hopping on, Carlos, and you're welcome back anytime, man.
All right. I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you.